Hey guys, Game Informer magazine's September issue that just came out had a great article in it that spoke about the 2017 COD World War II. It covered a lot of multiplayer info and also had a pretty big article on the Nazi Zombies mode where they interviewed the devs and they gave more insight to the mode. Here's the actual article from their magazine, and I'm just going to go over the interesting points and the new information that they shared. I also did some research on some of the things that they spoke about, and it brought up some really interesting historical real-world events from World War II and Nazi Germany, and it seems like it all ties in with this zombies mode and its backstory, and it's absolutely fascinating. And I'll be sharing that with you at the end of the video. First, I want to go over the article and show you everything that they're talking about, and then show you guys how it relates to the real world events. The article begins by saying this is the closest Call of Duty's zombies mode that has ever come to being a pure horror experience. They want the audience to feel like they're in a horror movie, but it was challenging to do because with gaming, you don't have that much control over all the pacing and special shots that help elicit that horror feeling emotion like you do in a movie. So the way they approached it was they looked into slaughterhouses. They said, we were looking at slaughterhouses. It's a very controlled environment where cows get slaughtered, so they control the lighting, the sight. You can't let the cow see what's happening or it will freak out. They said that it had the emotional pull that they were looking for and that feeling you get from a horror movie. As you descend further and further down into the level, things get more messed up and wetter. They go on to say that the setup is more grounded and far more dire than the recent Zombies offering that channeled macabre film noir or campy 80s film vibes, which, yeah, they're definitely talking about, Treyarch and Infinite Warfare Zombies. I don't think they're necessarily taking a shot at them, but they're definitely saying we're way more serious than they are. They describe the setting as a grisly tale that contains a slew of dark secrets lying beneath the packed snow in a quaint Bavarian village of Middelburg. Your carefully assembled team of experts from the Monuments, Fine Arts, and Archives section, the MFAA, enters the sleepy town searching for priceless pieces of stolen art and artifacts. And the characters that we're going to be playing, they're a part of the MFAA, and that might not seem so interesting, but it actually is. And there's a huge real-life backstory where they tie in with Nazi Germany and Hitler, and I'll go over that later on in the video. They go on to talk about Dr. Peter Straub, the diabolical experimenter in charge of the zombie project. They also go on to say that the core aspects are still there. So there's going to be puzzles like Easter eggs, there's going to be doors that you have to open and guns that you can purchase on the wall, but they are more rooted in realism than the recent zombies modes. This next part I think is really interesting, and they say that this is towards the end of the war. The Nazis were in dire situation, so they needed something. The hope and assumption is that the zombies were going to be able to be controlled, but that hasn't been the case. In fact, by the time you get into the game, it's the 4th time the zombies have pushed out and gotten out of their restraints. There's something going on here that the Nazis don't understand and cannot even control. They also said that this is not going to be the typical gameplay style that we know, that Sledgehammer chose to adopt a new, more dynamic approach. The route to victory has more variables and malleability, as you will have to move and flow with various objectives. You can't just mow down waves mindlessly and move on. For instance, in one situation, players must kill zombies within a consistently moving radius to generate an electrical charge to unlock a new area. They also say these zombies are not supernatural, fueled by magical powers, or propelled forward by a disease or virus. Dr. Straub's science behind reanimation is focused on the nervous system. Targeting neural pathways, he unlocked a way to bring these corpses to life. This isn't a biological plague or some kind of virus. It's an energy source that targets the nervous system. The zombies still require some assembly, however, which is why you see bolts, metal, struts, and other pieces slapped onto them. In some cases, these attached devices may not just be to prop up an arm or a neck, but to induce pain to the nervous system. This next part's crazy. They say these zombies can be empowered through torture, which makes things like neckwear and back bolts more than just a grisly adornment, but functional instruments of nerve-probing terror. I mean, that's pretty crazy. So they're just being like reanimated through the nervous system and then tortured to, make them attack or be controlled. In the next section, they talk about the different types of zombies, and they say not all these zombies have eyes or even a full set of functional limbs, but that's not a problem. They have a trained primal response to sense anything living nearby, which they then target for immediate death. It seems like they've got these zombies in different ranks, and they're saying that a lower tiered zombie is called a pest, and they don't have arms at all, and that pests enter the ranks and sow chaos, chomping, biting, and sucking down bullets to let other zombies do work. And here's a picture of one of them right here. Other zombies, like the bomber, may be stitched up from leftover parts and is designed to simply deliver an explosive payload to anyone it can reach. They talk about another type of zombie that can be absolutely terrifying, and that it could be assembled from massive weapons, flame, and multiple bodies. On the next page, they talk more about the function of the modes, and they're saying that the mode features core loadouts you can customize and develop as you play through, permanent unlocks that function sort of like traditional perks through gameplay, something a bit more tangible than consumable gobblegums. So they're trying to give us like perks that would be more grounded and try to keep it more realistic than like eating gums to get a perk. They say that there are 4 core classes that you choose from when you start the game, and you can be offense, control, support, or medic. You can customize these template loadouts via permanent progression elements you unlock from playthrough to playthrough. Me personally, I'll probably go for the offense class. The next part of the article talks about the map itself, and this is really interesting. They say, it opens up, you're in the game, and you're in Middleburg, like the town, and you're looking around, but that is cut really short because you're very quickly funneled underground into an abandoned salt mine. I did some research on some of the salt mines in Germany, and I came across some pretty crazy information, and I'll cover that in just a moment. They go on to say that there's all the traditional boarding up of windows and collection of currency to unlock areas, but the divergent paths seem to offer more options than previous zombie modes. Also, our characters are going to have special abilities, and you activate them by holding L1, R1, we're used to that, and one of them is to have unlimited ammo for a limited amount of time. And my guess is that this game mode is going to be pretty glitchy, and I bet somebody figures out how to have permanent unlimited ammo in the beginning when this game first comes out. Something else they say in the article that's interesting and definitely fits with them wanting to be more grounded and more based in reality. There's apparently these vending objects where you can buy armor. So that sounds like that's going to be where we increase our health in the equivalency to Juggernog. For the wonder weapons, it sounds like there's these Tesla weaponry, and you charge up additional power to unlock these weapons by slaughtering batches of zombies in specific moving areas. They said these areas were included in the laboratory and like a morgue area. So far we have like a city, a salt mine, a laboratory, and a morgue that we know of. They do advise that you do get this Tesla weaponry because there are some insane, crazy zombies. Like there's this one uber zombie who charges around from room to room, stomping, careening around objects, and like blasting deadly fire. They do say it's slightly easier to pick up your friends in this version of zombies if you have a support medic style character on your team, but it's not enough with the crazy creations plowing through your ranks. The very last part of the article says that those looking for Easter eggs and secrets that are a core aspect of the COD Zombies experience prepare for one of the most intense and challenging mysteries yet. They did give a clue though. They said searching for clues left behind by a toy maker will set you in the right direction. There was a scene in the leaked trailer, I don't think it was in the final release trailer, but it showed a toy store and it was called Howler Toys, but it was in German, and it showed like a teddy bear on the sign. And yeah, so I guess that's going to be just a big part of some of the Easter eggs. Now I want to cover a couple of things that I found during my research when I was looking into salt mines and the MFAA, Nazi Germany, Hitler. It all ties together, and it's got a really interesting backstory. If you guys don't know much about World War II and, Hitler's history, I'll give you the brief rundown so that it will all make sense when you go into the zombies mode and, wonder why the hell you're in a salt mine. Back during World War II and Nazi Germany, Hitler had stolen millions and millions of dollars worth of fine art. He stole it from museums and like family collections. It was his way of waging a war on European culture, like trying to destroy what they believed in. And he was going to take all this art and put it into a museum that he was building. Well, closer to the end of World War II, there was a military group called the MFAA, and that's the characters that we're playing. The MFAA, again, stands for Monuments, Fine Arts, and Archives, and basically this group was put together in 1943 to help protect cultural property in war areas during and after World War II. So one of their missions was to go and retrieve all of this stolen artwork that Hitler had taken and restore it to its rightful rightful owners, and they found the artwork stored thousands of feet under the ground in salt mines around Germany. One report shows that they recovered millions and millions of dollars in all of this fine art that was stolen. So now it all makes sense, yeah, why we're the MFAA. It was a real thing in World War II, and they really had to go into salt mines and recover like stolen artifacts. And that seems to be a big part of what our mission is in this zombies mode. Another thing I thought was cool is about the MFAA and the real life organization. They were able to recover like almost 90% of what was stolen by Hitler, but there's still thousands of pieces that have not been recovered yet. And this real life treasure hunt still continues over 70 years. You know, they're looking for some of these really important pieces. And there's one really high profile piece that, you know, they cannot find, they want to find because they want to know more about its origins. And that is this very famous piece that is real, and it's the portrait of a young man, Raphael. And we've seen some clues from Sledgehammer where they're showing us this, and yeah, so maybe in the game we actually find it, but still today this has never been found, and it's one of the biggest mysteries and one that the treasure hunters want to obtain the most. There's a really good movie that was made with George Clooney called Monument Men, so if you guys are interested in the zombies backstory, definitely go watch that movie. And hopefully this information will help us out a little bit when we actually get into the game mode and some of this stuff starts to pop up. We may be able to know like what we're looking at and make sense of it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you next video.